Immersed robot.
Okay, so I'll leave this footage running throughout this video just so you can see the side-by-side comparison that I'm getting on my system at the moment between Sim Update 6 on the left and Sim Update 7 on the right. Now, during the first half of this side-by-side, I'm locking frame rate, as I usually do when I play this game, at 40 frames per second. And then in the second half of this test, and I'll put timestamps in the description, you'll be able to see the difference when I unlock that frame rate so it can basically do what it wants. It still won't get up to 80 frames per second, of course, but you can see it fluctuating a little bit more and just get a better idea of just how far it can get up to in terms of frame rate between these two updates. So basically I hesitated putting this video up at all because it turns out the DX12 implementation is in a beta and it's sort of a work in progress, I think they've said specifically, and actually in the notes they do point out that VR implementation of DX12 people might find that it behaves a little bit strangely, and really what I'm seeing in this update, in Sim Update 7, is that there is really quite a bad performance hit when I activate DX12, and you do have to activate it in the menus, then restart the game before it will be implemented. But you can see between these two frame timings on the left and on the right, as I just fly over Manhattan here, that the frame timings on Sim Update 7 are really sporadic, really poor. They seem to settle down when I look straight ahead. Then as I turn my head around, you'll notice that you get big blocks of those red lines, and that's because the GPU and the CPU frame timing is going up quite dramatically. And you can see on Sim Update 6 on the left that I'm having a relatively comfortable time locked at those 40 frames per second. It's smooth, there is a little bit of fluctuation, but generally it's running really well. In Sim Update 7 with DX12 activated, the performance drops off really badly and it's not a great experience. So I don't really know what to say. At the moment it's really not implemented well for VR users, so I think really time will tell with this. We'll just have to wait and see how they optimise it a little bit better for VR users over the coming weeks and months, and hopefully there will be some updates, because this is really not an improvement. In fact, it's much worse on my system. And just for your reference, this is an RTX 3080 based system with a Ryzen 5 5600X CPU, so I've got 6 cores, 12 threads available, so it's not, it's not the best CPU in the world or anything, but it's a good high quality mid-range CPU, and I'm not seeing any benefit with DX12 whatsoever. Perhaps there is more benefit on flat screen users, or perhaps if you're using a higher core CPU, I'm not too sure. So leave comments if you've had a better experience than I'm having here, then let me know in comments, because it's really poor performance for me in Sim Update 7 with that DX12 implemented. So yeah, this wasn't a test I was expecting, to be honest, but it makes sense based on what they've said. I just missed that. I didn't realise that this was going to be a more in-depth work in progress. But anyway, so you can see here where I've unlocked the frame rate now, so it can go up to 80 frames per second. This isn't a comfortable way to play, in my opinion anyway, but on the left you can see the frame timings are much better on the GPU side, on Sim Update 6 sorry that is, and then on Sim Update 7 the CPU and GPU frame timings are really bad. So it's a bit of a downgrade in terms of performance, this Sim Update at this stage. So I just want to reiterate that this isn't the update that was going to fix all CPU bottlenecks or anything like that. It turns out, at least in VR, it might have helped on the flat screen, but in my experience this is not really how I want to play Microsoft Flight Simulator at the moment. So I'll be keeping an eye out for some further updates on this, and we'll see how we go. So like I say, I hesitated even uploading this, but I do want to just quickly mention as well, the settings are identical on both of these. I did make sure the settings were identical, and you can quickly see my settings here. So that's the result of my system. Let me know what you think and what your experience is, and all I can say is I hope that it improves over the next weeks and months really. That's all I can say. So I'll probably be going back to DirectX 11, and I hope it will remain a good experience on Sim Update 7. And yeah, I've not tried that yet, so I went straight into the DirectX 12, so I'll test that and hopefully I can still get the same performances I had before this update. But that's pretty much it for me. I'll leave this footage running just so you can see the end of it, but that's pretty much it for me. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.